Would you like to see football wherever you are in the world?
With NordVPN, you can get premium protection online and set your location so you never miss a minute of the content you usually enjoy.
Go to nordvpn.com/TSUW to get 72% off a 2-year plan plus 3 additional months absolutely free. Hello there and welcome to another Sheffield United match preview. How are we all doing this fine evening? We are going to be talking about Sheffield United versus Hull City at Bramall Lane. It's a 7:45 kickoff tomorrow night, Tuesday night. It's on Sky Sports Football Red Button for those that can't attend. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pop up on screen, or Hal's going to pop up on screen, members. There we go. I just realized for a second I said pop it up on screen and then I didn't tell Hal what to pop up on screen. So there we go. Everybody on screen right now is a paid up member, a £4.99 a month member. Not a lot, so they're absolutely legends. We really, really appreciate them. We've refreshed the list again and we've added Ian Boyden to the members list. So welcome Ian and check out all the other members on screen right now. We thank you very much for your generosity towards the channel. Also, Sheff United Way clips. Obviously, I talk about it every single week, and I've literally just put up a Paul Devlin clip, which was the Arsenal versus Blades FA Cup game, I believe, back a long time ago, when Brucey was going to take him off. So if you don't have a clue what I'm on about, go and click on it straight after this video. For those of you that do, Paul Devlin talks about that time when Arsenal tried to cheat us and pretty much did. Anyway, I'm going to bring in Hal. I'm going to say, how are you doing, mate?
Did you go to the first game of the Arsenal one or the replayed match?
Just the first game. The second game, I couldn't. There's no way of getting to London on a Tuesday night or whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wasn't able to do the second one either. And both of them were 2-1, I seem to recall.
I believe so.
Oh, it's a long time ago.
That's a good question. The second one was definitely 2, and I was thinking the first one was 1-0. But anyway, we move.
It was definitely 2-1 the first one because Paul Devlin set up Marcelo and then he didn't get the assist.
Yes. The second one was scored by Lee Morris too.
Yes.
So it definitely was 2-1.
Yeah, all right, we got there in the end, and that's how our memories work.
Yeah, we do. We're great together, aren't we, Hal? Especially on this lovely Valentine's Day. God, I can't even say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, who else would you want to spend Valentine's Day with than us two and our faces on the award-winning best YouTube and podcast channel in the EFL? Not our opinion, the opinion of a panel of industry experts.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So let's move on to move back to the Huddersfield game, shall we?
Do it.
Excellent. Right. I'm going to do it, Hal. I'm going to do it. So first of all, 3 positives like I always take from the previous game. First of all, League One Wes, clean sheet Wes, whatever you want to call him. Some may call him Wesley Fotherington Davis. If you know, you know. Another clean sheet for the lads. Another clean sheet for the defence too. Absolutely fantastic. 0-0 draw. Not one for the neutrals, but a very, very good point away from home for the Blades. Also, obviously, we've got the main man, Morgan Gibbs-White, starting his first game since his injury. Wasn't as effective as usual, but he is coming back from injury still. And 71 minutes in those legs is fantastic for him and the Blades in general. And finally, the referee, James Linnington, had an absolute stormer ruling out 2 Stonewall penalties for Huddersfield. I joke, obviously. But if it wasn't for him, we've lost that game. So, well in, lad. That's all I've got to say about the Huddersfield game.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, I'm not so sure with him. I think that his assistant referees and our players had a lot to do with that goal being disallowed. The time it took for that decision to be made. Yeah. I don't know what exactly was going quite through his mind, but boy, did the Blades get lucky there. And last time out, we were quite lucky as well when we played Hull. We have to go all the way back to the 6th of October, 2018, because it was only a 1-0 Blades win at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. And of course, when I do these last time outs, I'm going back to the last time we played them wherever this game is taking place, because of course we've already played them this season at their place. But David McGoldrick, who unfortunately won't be involved this time around, got a second half penalty, sent Sheffield United top of the Championship and ensured Hull City dropped to the bottom of the table. The pen was scored after defender Jack O'Connell, also not going to be involved tomorrow, was pulled down in the area. It was midway through the second half. And you mentioned that the game against Huddersfield, Nick, was not a classic, not one for the neutrals. I think it's fair to say this one, where we did maul the Tigers, but only by 1 goal, was also not one for the neutral. It was a 70th minute penalty, that one. And when I look at the lineup as well, Basham, Egan, Norwood, Fleck, Stevens, O'Connell, who I mentioned, Sharp and McGoldrick, all still involved with the club.
Yeah, it's great, but also you kind of want, but we want Stevens back to being Stevens. We want Jack O'Connell back. I think that team was quite clearly going somewhere, and this one we seem to have a little bit of, we play really well one game, not so much another game. We've put 4 great wins together, another decent draw. Let's carry on and make this season like it was 3 seasons ago.
Good rallying cry.
Exactamundo. So, Hal, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to talk about team news. And still expecting not to see Stevens after he's got a calf injury and it's keeping him out more than what we expected. Ozzy is still 2 weeks away from training with the lads too. Didzy's serious injury sounds even more serious, as Hal just alluded to, after they discovered a tear. But they're getting a second opinion. We do know that. But I'm not sure what the difference is going to be between those 2 opinions. For me, a tear's a tear, but obviously I'm no medical expert. So let's see. I can't see him playing for the rest of the season, to be honest. It sounds really bad. And hopefully we see more of him in the future. So obviously he's not available. Ben Davies has missed 2 games now in a row. But Jack Robinson, he's obviously come in and done very, very well after his illness. That's why Ben Davies was rushed back in and played. I forgot which game it was now. Obviously, no Rhian Brewster and no Jack O'Connell. They are the long-term injuries. We'll probably be adding Didsy to that list very, very soon. Now, let's move on to the predicted team. So here it is. There's nothing really new what we expect to see from this team, other than I'm expecting to see Ndai come back in. I'm expecting to still see Gibbs-White in there. Howrahan and Norwood have got to play in this game. I think a lot of people are looking at this, looking at the last game and thinking, right, we've got to go back to Howrahan and Norwood in there because they absolutely boss it. So I think from looking at on Twitter what people are saying about this team, this is looking like the team that a lot of people are wanting to see. The only other thing was that some are wanting to see Jebbo in there, but from listening to Paul Heckingbottom, it doesn't sound like Jebbo is completely up to the speed of the Championship. Now, I know that a lot of people are crying out for him. He played really well in the Premier League when we were there, but he has been playing a full half season in League One. So he's trying to get back up to speed with Championship football. So let's see. So that is your my preferred 11. Hal, what do you think to that team?
I'm going to just say it. Don't hate me. George Baldock constantly cutting back onto his right when on that left wing back position, I think is going to be too easy for oppositions to read. He did cross twice with his left, and they weren't bad crosses. One of them was. One of them was all right. And I have to say, I think you want a natural left-footed player in that position. Certainly in our away games, maybe in our home games.
What I will say is that Reece Norrington-Davies was not even on the bench.
But he's fit.
He is fit, but he wasn't on the bench. So that speaks volumes to me that Hecky said he is fit, he just wasn't involved. So that makes me think that Baldock is definitely going to play in this game.
No, you're probably right. It's just, in my opinion, I'm not really sure. It didn't work at Huddersfield, and it did work at home against West Brom. It's too small a sample size. After Hull, we'll probably have a better idea of whether George Baldock is the long-term solution as a right back who's become a right wing back playing left wing back.
Yeah, exactly. He had a fantastic game against West Brom. And George Baldock is one of the most professional players I've ever seen put a red and white shirt on. So whatever happens, you know that he's going to give 110%. He is not going to leave he's going to leave everything out there. That's what he does. So anyway, Hal, go for it.
All right, let's look at the opposition 11. Greg Doherty could replace Regan Slater in midfield. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of want to see Regan play, even though I think he's a good player. And obviously, you don't want the best players playing against you. Unless you do. You might be one of those fans that says, hey, I want us to beat the best. Tom Eaves, and this name, honestly, Nick, have you seen this on the sheet here? I've got to try and say this.
No, go on.
Alahaya Sayad Manesh.
Good effort. I'd have said it better, but good effort.
Honestly, I think the lamp just started moving. He could return to the substitutes bench after a minor injury. Tom Huddleston and Liam Walsh are also both options if 𝐍𝐸𝐲𝐶, the new manager, chooses to recall the pair to the squad. So I am going with Ingram in goal, who is an excellent goalkeeper. Coyle, very good defender. McLaughlin, very good defender. Greaves and Fleming. Then I think in the midfield we'll see Longman and Smallwood, possibly Regan Slater. Their best player, Lewis Potter, with Honeyman, who made a big impact against the Blades in that away game. And I actually think they won't go with Tyler Smith, the former Blade up front. I think they'll go with Forss, which is Forss, if you're wondering how to spell that one.
I like that. They'll go with Forss.
They'll go with Forss.
Excellent. Do you want to tell us about a referee?
Not really, but I will. The referee for this one is a different referee. Now, I know when this was rearranged, it's quite interesting. The other games, the other game that was rearranged that we'd already played, they kept the same referee. But this one, Oliver Langford from the West Midlands. He's taken charge of 22 games this season in all competitions, issuing 81 yellows, 2 reds. And this is interesting. He's given 4 penalties, which, of the last few games that we've spoken about referees, that's by far the most. He refereed our 3-1 away defeat at Blackburn Rovers.
Fair enough. 4 penalties over a season doesn't actually sound that many, but now you say it's like when you're comparing it with other referees, that's when you really see if it is a lot or not.
Yeah, refs at the moment this season, since we've been adding this feature in, seem very reticent and very hesitant to actually give, in my opinion, some stonewall penalties.
Do you think that's because there's VAR in other leagues that they're thinking?
They might be getting lazy, actually. That's a really good point, because VAR is taking so much of the jeopardy away for referees. But really, the way we're seeing video assistant referees work in the Premier League and the top leagues in Europe is if the referee gives it, the video assistant referee will kind of go with it, unless it's blatantly obvious they got it wrong. What they're not really doing is kind of overturning sort of dubious decisions, which is probably the way you want it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I feel like the VAR officials need to also take a bit more responsibility and go, no, referee, that was absolutely a stonewall penalty. Not, would you like to just go and have a look at the screen?
Have a little look at the little screen, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyway, let's move on. Score prediction, Hal. I'm going to jump straight in there and say 2-0 Blades.
All right, I can tell you moved your mic because I'm now deaf. Let us know your score predictions in the comments, please. So again, I'm going to go with me this time. Last time I didn't go with what I actually thought for Huddersfield. I listened to my nephew. I let him get into my head. Not this time, 6-year-old. I think this is actually going to be quite a bad game. I think this is, again, not going to be one for the neutral, but I think we'll nick it, but only just. I can see a 1-0 Blades victory.
I like that. I normally sit on the fence and go 2-1 because if you concede early, you're still in the game. So, yeah, I respect that. I respect that a lot.
Nick, what we should really say is it'll be 2-0 because every single home game under Paul Heckingbottom this season has been 2-0.
Oh, I said that. Has
he
really?
Again.
Actually?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. That's fantastic. I'll take that. 2-0 all the way till the end of the season. Absolutely fine with that.
Can I go first now with player connections? Because
of course you can, my friend.
One of my favourites now is the player I'm picking here, who I think is so synonymous with the Blades, but I know that Hull City fans absolutely love Stephen Quinn. So I wanted to pick Quinny, a player that kind of burst onto the scene in our Premier League season in 06-07. He was with the Blades from 2005 to 2012. Good long stint. Played far more games for United than any other club. 206 league games, 20 goals. Some of those absolute strikers. He played for Hull after that because he went on loan during his time at the Blades earlier on in his career to MK Dons and Rotherham. But we did sell him straight to Hull. Played 85 games of league for them. Got 4 goals. And we got to see him again a few times playing against us. Also, he played for Reading, Burton Albion, and he's currently at Mansfield Town, linking up with, it's Cloughie, isn't it? Nigel Clough, manager there.
It is. And do you know what? I'm going to add something into this video each week, I think now. Stephen Quinn, what is your favourite Stephen Quinn moment?
I think he scored against Hull, actually, which is what we're talking about, a game against Hull. In that match, I think I've got this right. The one that we won where Paddy Kenny got injured. Didn't he score in that game? Unsworth scored right late on.
I know which game you're on about, but I can't remember if Stephen Quinn scored.
I feel like he did.
I'll give you mine. Free kick against Portsmouth in the Premier League against David James. Little dink over the wall. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to go Harry Maguire, mate. Harry Maguire. He's been under fire massively this season. Obviously, he's the most expensive defender in the world. I love Harry Maguire. I cannot stand there and let people give him grief. 134 games for the Blades, 9 goals, which is pretty good. Scores a lot of goals from corners. He obviously then went to Hull, 54 games. I was devastated when he left because I know how good he is. I never thought he'd reach the Premier League, to be honest, because he has got not the best kind of turning circle, if you like, but he's certainly done fantastically well. And just to become Man United's captain, fair play to the lads. But yeah, under fire a little bit this season. Favourite Harry Maguire moment?
You really put him into the spot here. Actually, I don't think Stephen Quinn did score in that whole game, actually. So, now I think about it. What's your favourite Harry Maguire moment? I don't know.
I don't know.
Why are you doing this to me?
You've
got to give me this. You got to give me this.
We'll do this.
I'm nearly 40, Lynn. You can't just ask me to remember things that happened any longer than like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think you can be on the channel after you turn 40. So we'll be looking for other people. Yeah. Anyway, go on. Clayton Donaldson, mate. Tell me all about Clayton Donaldson.
He plays for my hometown team, as in where I grew up, not where I was born, York City at the moment. I played for York before as well, before he joined the Blades, but played for United between 2017 and 2018. Only 26 games in the league, puts his glasses on, and 5 goals. But I thought he made a real impact. And every time he played for us, I just thought he looked like a really competent striker. If you're going to ask me, I do remember this, the goals in that game against Villa, Sunderland. Just thought he was a player that whenever he got the ball, I kind of hoped something would happen, and often it did. It's just an exciting striker, which was, I think, was he the one that was signed on deadline day when we had that magazine following Chris Wilder, and he was trying to get, was it Jerome Sinclair and a player called Domingo Keener or something like that, and we only ended up getting, Clayton of the strikers we were after, and Sinclair's kind of disappeared as well, so it could have been a very, very different career for him. So I can remember that stuff because you didn't ask me.
No, that's it. That's exactly that. And he only seemed to score 2 goals a game, didn't he? He scored 2 goals in a game, didn't score for like 10 games, and 2 goals in a game. He loved doing that.
Yeah,
also,
James didn't like him as much as me.
The funny thing as well, what I will say, Harry Maguire and Clayton Donaldson both played against each other when we played Brentford in a very, very tough game. Both got sent off because I was worried that Harry Maguire was going to get absolutely done over by Clayton Donaldson because he had so much pace back then, and they both got sent off in that same game. I think it was a draw in the end, but let us know in the comments if you remember that game in the League One season, or in the League One many seasons. I'm going to move on to Mr. Dean Windass, an absolute legend of Hull, obviously born in Hull too, scored that winning goal for them in the playoff final. What an absolute hero he was. I think he's been a hero pretty much everywhere he's been. Also, played for Sheffield Wednesday on loan twice, but we won't hold that against him. Played 16 games for the Blades, scored 3 goals. It feels like he scored a lot more goals for us. I was a big, huge, massive Dean Windass fan. And obviously there's a lot of things that I remember about Dean Windass. He scored a few goals. He set up lots of goals. He held the ball up very, very well. But also the biggest thing that I remember from Dean Windass was him getting the ball blasted at his head from about 5 yards and then falling to the floor, jumping up, rubbing his head and getting on with it. That's Dean Windass for you all over.
Yeah, we could have done with keeping hold of him. I mean, he got dropped just before that Wolves playoff final game, which I don't like to think about. And it all seemed to end there and end in an acrimonious way. And I think we saw after that what he carried on doing, particularly for Hull. He still had a lot left in him.
Yeah, he certainly did, didn't he? And yeah, really sad. And it'd be nice to get him on this channel one day to just tell us all about that day.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Hal. As always, go and have a lovely meal with your missus.
Thank you very much. I will hopefully see you tomorrow at Bramall Lane.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Have a good one. See you, everyone.